afternoon, Rob Parker from Peach Software. Just with another new little feature for you I thought you may be handy. So in the lookup screen, so if you're in an invoice for example and you've got to look up the customers or you've got to look up the products, we've now added a freeze column feature to those lookup screens. So I'll just show you how that works. So normally when you open up an invoice you may search for the customer. I'll just type a 0 to invoke the search screen and it comes up with a search screen here. There we are. And I'll just use my mouse here and I'll just scroll along. You can see the whole grid moves across as normal. But now there's a new little feature up here, a little pin. So you just click on the pin and now what happens is while the first two columns stay still, the rest of the grid can slide across. That way when you're looking for a particular customer, you can slide across and you can still identify which line the details are for. Now you can just store that setting and that will stay as is. Or you can clear the layout, or you can just turn the pin off. So if you do want to move the columns, however, if you want to change some columns around, you will need to turn the pin off. Then you can move the column, you can put it over here, and then you can freeze the column again, and then you're right again to go. So that's in the customer browse screen. So I'll just load a customer now, and then I'll show you how it works in the product browse screen. So when you're searching for a product, it also works exactly the same way. I'll type in Z just so that I invoke the product search screen, and again you've got your normal grid here, and then you can search along, so it's frozen at the moment. So if you wanted to move some things around, sometimes you might want to see the available or the in-stock quantity next to the part number. So I'll just turn my pin off, I'll move my stock across, drop it in there, and then I'll freeze it again, and now I've got my part and my in-stock quantity, and then I can look along and I can check the transactions as I go across there. I think the most benefit you'll get from it is actually in the product control screen. So in the F5 transactions of product control, of course, you can see the track of all the transactions that have happened over a certain date or for a certain part number. So I've just searched a product here and I can see there's a stock take entry there. Now normally you'd have to keep track of which line that's on, so when you scroll across, because we've got a lot of information there going across, so normally you'd have to keep track of which line it's on, but because you've got the first two columns frozen, you can move it along and you can still focus on which transaction you're looking at. So it's particularly good there. And of course another great place this feature may help is when you're in customer control and you're looking up F5 transactions and there's a whole lot of information going across the grid. Again, normally you'd have to look at which row you're on until you follow it across. But now with the frozen columns, you can put whatever columns you like in the first two, you can freeze them, and then you can slide across and see what the information relates to. So there you have it, that's a new feature. I think it just makes the software a little bit easier to use and finding information. So if you have any questions, please call Peach Support and we'd be only too happy to help you. Thank you for watching.